Eve Speaks by Mark Twain. They drove us from the garden with their swords aflame, the fierce cherubim. And what had we done? We meant no harm. We were ignorant, and did as any other children might do. We could not know it was wrong to disobey the command, for the words were strange to us, and we did not understand them. We did not know right from wrong. How should we know? How could we? We could not without the moral sense. It was not possible. If we had been given the moral sense first, that would have been fairer. That would have been kinder. Then we should be to blame if we disobeyed. But say to us, poor ignorant children, words which we could not understand, and then punish us because we did not do as we were told. How can that be justified? We knew no more than this littlest child of mine knows now, with its 4 years, not so much. I think I would say to it, if thou touchest this bread, I will overwhelm thee with unimaginable disaster, even the dissolution of thy corporeal elements. And when it took the bread and smiled up in my face, making no harm, as not understanding those strange words, would I take advantage of its innocence and strike it down with the mother hand it trusted? Whoso knoweth the mother heart, let him judge if it would do that thing. Adam says my brain is turned by my troubles, and that I am become wicked. I am as I am. I did not make myself. They drove us out into this harsh wilderness, and shut the gates against us. We that had meant no harm. It is 3 months. We are ignorant then. We are rich in learning. Now, how rich. We know hunger, thirst, and cold. We know pain, disease, and grief. We know hate, rebellion, and deceit. We know remorse. The conscience that prosecutes guilt and innocence alike, making no distinction. We know weariness of body and spirit, the unrefreshing sleep, the rest which rests not, the dreams which restore Eden and banish it again with the waking. We know misery. We know torture and the heartbreak. We know humiliation and insult. We know indecency and modesty and the soiled mind. We know the scorn that attaches to the transmitted image of God, exposed, unclothed to the day. We know fear. We know vanity, folly, envy, hypocrisy. We know irrelevance. We know blasphemy. We know right from wrong and how to avoid the one and do the other. We know all the rich product of the moral sense, and it is our possession. Would we could sell it for 1 hour of Eden and white purity, which would we could degrade the animals with it. We have it all, that treasure, all but death, death, death. What may that be? Adam comes, well, he still sleeps. That is our second born, our Abel. He has sleep enough for his good, and his garden suffers for his care. Wake him. I've tried and cannot. Then he is very tired. Let him sleep on. I think it is his hurt that makes him sleep so long. I answer, it may be so. Then we will let him rest. No doubt the sleep is healing it. And before we get into, in the Bible, the word besht, or shame, is often used for the private parts. And it's like they're shaming the body rather than the idea that they became ashamed because they realized that they were immodest and went to cover themselves. That's a different sort of saying. And they were given the moral sense by, puberty. We find that people, if they don't have early puberty disorder, like hitting puberty when they're 9 years old or something, their mind reaches a point where they can have independent morality and the ability to choose according to their physical means. And people and their character. Oh, it's in my nature. No, your nature is, your character is, you form tastes and stuff that are directed by, um, certain choices. And maybe you didn't choose to be interested in or develop a liking or of one sort or another, but you can choose what behaviors you do about it, right? Or whether or not you're going to get that thing elsewhere. And innocence and naiveness are obviously not the same thing, but so it is a day and a night now that he has slept. We found him by his altar in his field that morning, his face and body drenched in blood. He said his eldest brother struck him down. Then he spoke no more and fell asleep. We laid him in his bed and washed the blood away, and were glad to know the hurt was light and that he had no pain. For if he had pain, he would not have slept. It was early in the morning that we found him. All day he slept that sweet, reposeful sleep, lying always on his back, and never moving, never turning. It showed how tired he was. Poor thing. He is so good, and works so hard, rising with the dawn and laboring till the dark, and now he is overworked. It will be the best that he tax himself less. After this, and I will ask him, he will do anything I wish. All the day he slept, I know, for I was always near, and made dishes for him, and kept them warm against his waking. Often I crept in, and fed my eyes upon his gentle face, and was thankful for that blessed sleep. And still he slept on, slept with his eyes wide, a strange thing, and made me think he was awake at first. But it was not so, for I spoke, and he did not answer. He always answers when I speak. Cain has moods and will not answer, but not Abel. I've sat by him all the night, being afraid he might wake and want his food. His face was very white, and it changed, and he came to look as he had looked when he was a little child in Eden long ago, so sweet and good and dear. It carried me back over the abyss of years, and I was lost in dreams and tears, oh, hours, I think. And then I came to myself, and thinking he stirred, I kissed his cheek to wake him, but he slumbered on, and I was disappointed. His cheek was cold. I brought sacks of wool and the down of birds and covered him. But still he was cold, and I brought more. Adam has come again. He says he is not yet warm. I do not understand it. We cannot wake him. With my arms clinging about him, I have looked into his eyes through the veil of my tears and begged for one little word, and he will not answer. Oh, is it that long sleep? Is it death? And will he wake no more? Death has entered into the world, and the creatures are perishing. One of the family is fallen. The product of the moral sense is complete. The family think ill of death. They will change their minds. And so, from Satan's Diaries at last. Well, not really Satan's Diary, but you know what I mean.